Hello and welcome to Stamping Fun with Donna's Monday Mini. I'm Donna, and every Monday I bring you a quick card that you can make when you don't have time to make a more intricate card. Just because they're quicker doesn't mean they have to look quicker or can't be beautiful. An example is what we're going to be making today, this thank you card. It's absolutely adorable, would go for a lot of great different occasions. Anytime you need to say thanks. Maybe you're going to the beach and you need to share this with someone. Maybe you are staying with somebody over the summer. I'm just gonna change that just a little bit. That's a little bit straighter. Or maybe you have a pool party you need to do it for. So I made this thank you card and thought we would go from there. All right, so let me set this aside. What we're gonna be using today are the Stylish Shapes dies. These dies, I've told you before, are just a staple for your craft room. They are so terrific. There's 6 different circles. There's 2 of these banners, and there's 4 squares and 2 littler banners. So there's really 4 banners altogether. Today we're going to be using the circles. And what I'm going to use are the 4 smallest circles. So I'm going to pull all 4 of them out. I don't think the bigger ones are going to be kind of hard to use to make this kind of card. And I'm going to bring the card back in so you can take a look at it. There we go. But you can use any combination of the circles you want to make. What we're going to be doing is cutting out circles, random circles on the card, and then we're going to be putting stuff on top of it. So let me go ahead and bring in the cut and emboss machine. Here we go. Let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. That'll work. Alrighty. So I have my plates all ready to go. Now, what we need for this, we don't need a lot for this card. So what we need for this card is a card base. It's a regular card base that's an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of cardstock that's been cut in half and then scored in half and folded. Let me see how this opens there. So this is a regular size A2 size card base that we are going to be using. And then we need one more thing one more bit of white for the layer. So what I'm going to do is I brought up the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine a little too early. I was a little excited. So what we're going to do is we're going to first cut this piece of paper. And I'm going to cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller than the regular size card base. That leaves a nice edge, but it's not very thick at all. Now I showed you this last week. Hopefully you saw that one too. But it's really not that difficult to cut 1/8 of an inch. What you want to do is normally this would be at 4 1/4 in this direction. So you just want to take this and on the Stampin' trimmer, just go back 2 ticks. That's another 1/8 of an inch. Then you cut that there and set that aside. And now this one would normally be 5 1/2. Again, I'm just going to go 2 ticks back from the 5 1/2 and cut it there. And now I have a sheet that is to layer that is just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the normal card base. So now I'm going to bring the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back. Stick it here. There we go. If you watch my videos, you know I always say you don't have to memorize how these go. And you don't even need to have to be able to read, because I think you can see it probably better on this side, because there are numbers here, right? So it tells you if you're going to have a die cut, you just need 1, the 2, and 2 3s. So here's the 1 we're going to put down. And on top of it is 2, which is the die plate. And then we have the 2 3s, which are, they say right here that they're 3s. There we go. It says right here, you can use either side, or it doesn't matter how you put them in. Now I'm going to put this here. Now, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be using, what are these called? They're mix and match. They're mix and match papers. And there are several different ones that are sold. For instance, this is one that is sold. The one that we are going to be using is called, does it have a name? Under the Sun Mix and Match Ephemera Pack. think you might be able to see it there. It's really fun. It's got all of these summary things. So there's 3 pages and 2 copies of each. So here's one, and you can see you can do all sorts of things with that. That would look great with scrapbooking, but it also would look great with card making. Here's a second, and then here's the third, and you get 2 copies of each of these. This one is actually stickers, so you can use it as stickers, or you can leave the paper on the sticker part, the sticky part, and use them as regular die cuts. So what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be making something that looks like this, but we're going to use the umbrella. So here's the umbrella. So we're going to use the umbrella like this. The first thing you want to do is, these come in different sizes and shapes, the ephemeras. And by the way, stick around till the end because I have other examples I'm going to show you. But anyway, there's different sizes and shapes. These are small ones. I have some bigger ones. If you were going to use, for instance, the camera, it would be medium size. If you want to use the van, it's large. So it just depends on how you're going to put your circles on the paper on how big your ephemera is. So you want to keep that in mind. Now I have all 4, let me see if I can't move this a little more. There we go. All 4 of the circles here that are the 4 smallest circles. And I know I want to use the umbrella. So what I want to do is make sure that you can see it well. So I'm going to put this one in the middle. There we go. And I like it when some of them go off a little bit. It's a little bit more natural and organic looking than if everything is 100% exactly on. So we'll do it like this. We'll have, actually, maybe we'll do it there and then put this one back on. So we have 2 that are fully on and 2 that are partially off. And so then what we're going to do is put the, I think you can see most of it. Let me move it over just a little bit. So we're doing it like that. Because remember, what's going to cut is only the things that are in the exact sandwich, right? There's no paper underneath over here, so it's going to cut the edge. And the same thing with over here. There's no paper where it goes off the edge, so it's going to go all the way to the edge. Now I'm going to put the top one in, and I'm going to slide this all the way through, and then I'm going to grab this and put the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine back on the ground. Now, if I take off the top number 3 plate, top acrylic plate, you can see here how it cut. This one cut partially off because I put it on the edge, and this one cut partially off because I put it on the edge. But these 2 here cut perfect circles. So what I would do is set these aside. These are great for projects later. And who doesn't need to have circles, just white circles ready, at the ready all the time? I use those all the time. So those are really helpful to have in the craft room. And now I'm just going to set aside the 4 circle dies and put them back into their package. Now let me put this back down and move the plates out of the way. So here we have the base. I'm going to move this back in now that the machine is gone so you can see it. We have the base, and we have the piece that's going to go on top. And the piece that's going to go on top, as I said, is just a little bit smaller. So what we want to do is use a blending brush to create a little bit of color in the background. You can do this any way you want, but I'll show you what my favorite way is. You could do it on here with the paper already on there, attach the top piece first and then do it. But I find that you can easily get it onto the top piece rather than just underneath. So I prefer not to do it that way. I've also tried it with both the small blending brushes and the larger blending brushes. They both work. This one was done with the smaller. The one we're going to be doing now is going to be done with the larger. I happen to think that the larger one is less streaky than the smaller one, but you should use whatever you have and whatever you like to use. So I'm going to bring in here Pretty in Pink ink. We're going to set that aside. And now what I'm going to do is take the blending brush and get it into the ink. And then you always want to do this with the blending brush, just sort of get some of the ink off, because the blending brushes take a lot of the ink and you can end up with a sharp, when you first get in there, a sharp color. So what I'd like to do is to put the top piece, I've got to stop saying this so much, I realize. Put the top piece on the card base. And then I know I want to circle, I want a little bit of color back there. So I'm going to circle a little bit of color there. There we go. And now we can put it back and I see it's a good color. Now I know I want to have, let me get a little bit more ink. Again, put it off over here for a second. I know I want to have some color over here. So I'm just going to bring this back and make a little bit of a semicircle of the color. I want to keep the inside somewhat white. It's all going to be different. It's all very organic, so it doesn't matter too much, but I want to have some of it white. Now I know I want to have some pink down here. Hopefully we are all on camera. Let me just move things around a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to peel this back, and now I'm going to put some color in this corner. Okay, so now we've got those three done, and I'm going to take the pretty in pink, load up a little bit more, again, brush it off in the corner, peel it back a little bit, and I'm going to take it all the way off. I know approximately where it is. And none of this has to be exact. This is a very organic feel to a card. None of it has to be exact at all. There we go. Okay, so we have the basics of the card. That was really super easy. I think it took us like 4 minutes. So it's going to go on like this. Now I like to pop this up because it creates a bit of a shadow, right? And you can see it's a little bit more interesting with that interest. If you want to, you can glue this straight down. But if you glue it down straight down, it's not going to have as much as much interest in the top of the card. So I'm going to set this aside now. And what I'm going to do is here is our umbrella that we want to put on. And I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals from here. And we put it this way. So I'm going to turn this over and put on Stampin' Dimensionals. Now I tend to use a bit of Stampin' Dimensionals. You may not want to use quite as many as I want to with this project. With this project though, I know I want it to really get the depth and be off the bottom. And to be perfectly honest, Stampin' Dimensionals cost less than 2 cents each. So I don't worry about overusing them if I need the pop in a project. Not every project needs the extra pop, but these sure does. So even though I'm using a lot here, I am using, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of them, that's not even a quarter. It's 20, it's less than 24 cents. It's probably somewhere around 20, 21 cents, but I don't have the number exactly. I'm going to take the backs of these off of the Stampin' Dimensionals and just peel them off like this. There we go. And just got a couple more to go. There we go. And 2 more. There we go. Alrighty. And now it's sticking to my finger. But I'm going to take this card base and set it in the middle. And then I'm going to take the top that we cut the circles out of and just place it so that there is approximately the same amount of distance around all of it. And you can see there how great it came out with the circles in the middle. And now we have the umbrella to go here. The umbrella, you can either pop up or you can glue it down. I like to pop up. You can see here, I popped up the sunglasses. Sometimes I haven't popped them up. Oftentimes I do. It just depends. If you don't, since these are stickers, you can see there's the paper, right? It's right there. You can take the backing paper off, and then you can use it as a sticker instead. I'm going to go ahead and take those off and then stick this. That's actually supposed to be there, right like this. I love these to be partially over the cutout pieces and partially not over the cutout pieces. And the areas that are over the cutout pieces, it's much better to have the Stampin' Dimensional underneath it to make it pop up as high as this piece, the card on top piece. Otherwise, it'll be lower. So that's why I like it like that. But the handle of the umbrella, we can certainly use just a little bit of glue for. So I'm going to put just a little bit. Actually, I don't even need to use glue. It's telling me, oh, but I already put it down. So I'm not sure I could, if I had thought ahead, I could have taken the backing off of that, and then I could have used that as a sticker. Instead, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there, and did a little too much. So I'm just going to take some off. And then there you go. Now it's all stuck down. The areas over here are popped up to be equal with the top piece we have here, and the handle of the umbrella is glued down so that it's even with that, even with the top piece. Now I tend to have, when Stampin' Up has these made sentiments, I tend to buy them. I tend to open them up and I stick them all in here. I actually don't even know where any of these came from anymore because there's so many of them that are different all the time. There's the black ones, there's white with ones on black on white paper, there's white on black paper. There are many that are colored. There are sentiments, there are words, and I just pull them out of their original places and I put them in this one package, and then I can go through and see what I want to use. Now for this one, I think, let's see, how about here's to you? I'm not sure. I'm thinking this could be used for all sorts of things. We use for the summer, but it could also be used for if you have a baby shower. The umbrella would be terrific. So let me go ahead and say we'll use, it would be great for a birthday. It would be great for get well soon. I think we're going to use the get well soon. So there we go. Now, some of the other ones I'm going to show you later have smaller sentiments, and I'll show you what I did with those. But because I have the get well soon, what I'm going to do is just on white, I'm just going to put just a little bit of the pink. I'm not even going to redo the brush. I'm just going to put just a little bit of the pink on here so it can stand out from the white layer that we're going to be putting it on. Okay, great. And now what we can do is for here, this one is going to, well, let's see. We could put it off kilter. We could put it so it just spans it. We could put it up or down, or we could put it on the bottom of the card. I think it's a little bit tight on the bottom of the card. And I actually think I like it like this. So it's partially on and partially off of the top layer. So what we want to do then, as we talked about before, is have this part popped up, but this part not popped up. So I'm going to go back to my stamping dimensionals, and I know that we want the pop up on the left side, which when we turn it over, it will be on the right side, right? Because it's going to be on the other side. Now, when you use Stampin' Dimensionals, of course, you use every piece of them. So for something like this, where they're thinner, I like to just grab the edge. I will warn you, though, not to take the edge off all around. I did that at first. I was like, oh, I'll just use all the edges first. And what ended up happening is that the Stampin' Dimensionals did not stay as well inside the package as they had before. And now I'm going to grab just a little bit more of the liquid glue, put another little dot here. There we go. And now I have the part that says get well is popped up, and the part that says soon is flatter. So put one edge on and then make sure it gets on straight. There we go. So that's all there is to this card. It's super easy, as I told you. You can stamp a sentiment inside. I always like to decorate the insides of my cards. I'm wondering if there's something else that we can put on the inside of this card as well. Let me see if I can't grab some of the papers that are from there. Where did I put my sheet? There they are. Okay, so we can put a little something on the inside. We've got get well, so we don't want it to be like cocktails or sunshine, but we could put, I think we're gonna leave it, since we put get well soon, we're gonna leave it by itself. This one here, you can see when I did the thanks card, I put 3 of them. The 2 flip-flops are glued down, and then the sunglasses are popped up on top of that. So that's all there is to this card. I'm going to show you some other ways you can do this. You can also actually, you can always just, I keep thinking that's dirt, but it's not. It's actually part of the umbrella. You can always, of course, stamp if you wanted to and use a die cut with that. Here we have one that I did with the watering can, and I put the grateful. This one, the sentiment was smaller than the circle, so I just glued it right inside the circle, and it says grateful, and I'm gonna give that to somebody who's done something nice to me. And then this one here has the bike, and since the bike is longer and bigger, I actually did fewer circles. I had to make sure that there was enough room for the bike without it going over so much of the circles that you didn't really get the effect of the circles. And then again, I just glued "The world needs more people like you" directly inside of one of the circles. So there you go. These are the cards I've come up with for you today. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you have a great day and a great week. See you next Monday. Bye.